Yeah, I will do a little bit of introduction because there's a little bit of explaining to do, but yeah, I will do the countdown soon. Yeah. Alright, so, name's Chris, and the game is Ittle 2. It's an indie game by Ludosity. They're awesome devs, by the way. But, basically, it's not really a glitch-heavy game. There's really only 2 glitches done in it. Mainly, there's entrance despawning, which is you pause when you enter a map, and that allows you to unload the entrance, and you can just go past it and go out of bounds easily. The other glitch, though, is called phasing, and it's something I found back in November, and it's basically the most versatile glitch I've ever seen, because it has over 100 uses throughout the entire game. For the sake of 100% though, it's still used an awful lot, but basically you click the status bar, and so you have to play in windowed mode, unfortunately, but you click the status bar and it will kind of stall the game. I will actually demonstrate it here, and I'm clicking the status bar and you can see the animation in the background has stopped. So what happens when you do that is it will actually disable certain gliders, and so you can bypass things like collisions, or you can just teleport to certain types of objects that are within range. There's a lot that goes into it, but I'll explain more as time goes on. And so yeah, pretty much every second I will be doing a phase roll, which saves movement time over long periods of time. So it is going to be painful to watch, so I do apologize for that. But I guess that's the explanation that's needed. So without further ado, ready to start the timer? Alright, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so there is a cutscene skip you could do here. I use an audio cue for it though, which, yeah, but I am playing without audio right now through the headset, so yeah, I kind of missed it, but that's fine. Doesn't affect in-game time, which is what we use to actually time things. So what I did to start with was I pushed it's called a fish button. I pushed that to blow up the cave, because there are a lot of secret caves throughout the game, and that's one of them. And so we'll return to that cave later on. And basically, yeah, right off the bat you see the uses of phasing. So that was the first portal world, which is basically a separate map. And you can just completely skip the entire portal world by just phasing through the slope. And yeah, phase rolling saves like about 1 second every 10 seconds or so. So whenever there's a long movement stretch like this one, for example, you want to do phase rolls. Oops, I was slow, so I missed the first cycle of this cannon. And I missed the second cycle, and third. Leave it to me to mess the simple things up during a run. Anyway, so we get that lockpick, and we just go over here and unlock this portal, because we will be using it later. So, funny story, the route has actually been changed 4 times in the last 2 weeks, mainly for like minor optimizations, but it's basically been hard to keep track of muscle memory. I fully intend to mess up somewhere, but I mean, I don't know. My last I did a run yesterday that actually got world record, so I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm getting better, but I'm still bad. But yeah, basically we just go through all of Lonely Road here, and it's basically a long detour to get an item earlier than we would otherwise be able to. But it will help a lot in making things easier. So there's 2 routes, the 2 main routes for 100%, but both routes pretty much are the same time. One is much more consistent than the other. I am doing the more consistent route for simplicity, but the other route requires a very inconsistent chain skip, which I will bring up later on when I get to it. But anyways, here we do a zigzag pattern to unlock an outfit cave down southwest here. But we don't enter the cave yet because it's faster to do it later on. So here we enter Moon Garden, which is, as you may have guessed, is also completely skipped. We can just phase through that transition there, and there's a loading zone in the back here that we can just access and get chain that way. The chain extends the length of melee attacks, or the range of melee attacks, I should say. And it allows for certain dungeon shortcuts, which will actually be used right away in the first dungeon, which is where we're headed to now. First dungeon is Potassium Mine, which is actually technically Dungeon 6 if you follow the game's suggested dungeon order. But the game's mostly open world, so it's just, it has, like for the first 8 dungeons, it has a suggested order. And of course we do our own order, because we're special like that. But yeah, so it's just a long way to have to get to Dungeon 6. It's actually the most out of the way dungeon. Well, I guess maybe second most out of the way. But I will attempt a trick here, which is RNG based. Ah, bad angle. Alright, got it. Second try is not bad. Because yeah, that is entirely RNG. He can sometimes completely miss you, or other times he'll just give you a bad angle, which is what he did to me the first time there. So it's just an overall a finicky trick. But that enemy in this room right here is the inconsistent one. So I just did a chain shortcut there. You can do chain skip doing just basically to skip getting chain entirely, which is what any percent does. But that jelly has unique characteristics that make phasing to it very unusual, let's say. So that's why we came up with a early chain route. So normally for most bosses, it's faster to just do melee attack, but for this first one, Ice Ring is actually stronger, and that was a bad fight. Alright, so, and that's it for the first dungeon for now. We actually come back later to get another collectible. Much later, like 30 minutes in. Alright, so now we proceed to Star Woods. There's not really much going on here, it's just getting some collectibles. So yeah, like already at this point you've seen several uses of phasing. Most notably, there's you can use phasing to cross large gaps, like what I just did in the previous cave. You can use it to phase to certain types of enemies. It works for most enemies, but not all. You can use it, as I did just there, to phase to ice blocks, or any movable block for that matter. And yeah, I mean, it has several uses. Phasing alone saves about, I believe 8 minutes in any percent, which is now a 13-minute run. And it saves over, I want to say about 20 minutes in Hundo, if I'm not mistaken. Just don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's definitely a very useful trick. And now here we go to East Star, and for good reason, even though it's a major detour. Nice, the turnip hit me there. He was aggressive. But we enter Former Colossus, which I'm going to attempt a skip I'm not that good at yet. They basically need to blindly navigate. Awesome, yes, alright. Got it first try. I did not get that in my practice run before I did this. That's good that I got it. So yeah, you can just navigate to loading zones while the next area is off camera. And that bypasses, there's normally a fence there that you'd have to solve a long puzzle to get rid of the gate. But of course, gates are unloaded when the area's off screen, so that's convenient. Now we get Dynamite, which is the most damage, the strongest damage dealing item in the game. I'm not going to get into damage or HP values yet, but basically, at this point, the optimal boss strats are... Bad RNG there. But the optimal strats do on bosses is you just spam melee attack, and you use dynamite like every 3 seconds. I think it's 4-second fuse, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. So bosses can go down pretty quick having dynamite. And especially once we get dynamite 3. But that won't be for a while. So each of the main items have 3 upgrades. And all of them are progressive. So no matter where you get them, it will just upgrade your current item. So you can't just go straight to like dynamite 3, for example. Anyways. So right there you see a use of button phasing, which allows you to press more than one button, or you can press 2 buttons on the same frame. Which doesn't have too many uses, but it does have a few uses throughout this run. Oops. Oops, why did I do that? Had a brain fart there. Alright, so get this crayon, you actually do the puzzle, because you don't have a way to skip doing the puzzle. The crayons add to your health, which is actually nice for later on, because there are some tricky parts that can actually end up killing you, especially for me since I'm bad. Alright, so there you phase to that block, and sometimes you can actually get the key while on the wall there. It's rather precise though, so I wasn't lucky enough to get it. So this is Diablo. Diablo's not too bad of a boss. It's just I often choke him because I'm not good at doing optimal strat. Don't die. Alright, I had to play it safe at the end there because I took way too much damage. That was pathetic. Alright, I'm better at the other bosses though. I'm so not used to not having to split. Anyways. So, with Star Woods done, we return to Pepper Pane, and we actually full clear South Pepper Pane now, which we actually full clear it in 1 trip, whereas in previous routes we'd actually do it in 3 trips. So that's the benefit of having chain earlier. Having earlier chain, it makes the run more consistent, and it also saves small amounts of time saves throughout the entire run. So it ends up not really being slower, which is nice. So here we just clip. That's another use for phasing, is if you phase on the exact frame that an ice block explodes and you skip the slide animation, it'll actually temporarily store the ice slide so that the next time you place ice, it will spawn where you last placed ice. Kinda hard to explain, but basically it's, if you know Wind Waker or Ocarina, well, no, Wind Waker mainly, it has storage in it. That's basically what that does, is it just saves the ice so that you can use it later. And if you happen... Nice cannonball. Oh my god. Okay. Well, that's actually pretty bad. Yeah, as long as I don't get hit in the next cave, I should be fine. But, cause yeah, it's really bad time loss if you die here. But I should be fine. But anyways, yeah, if you stand where ice will spawn and have something between, or have something to the other side of you, you'll actually be pushed through the other object with when the ice block slides into you, and that can be used to bypass any gate or get out of bounds pretty much anywhere. Don't hit me. Oh, okay. Good thing I'm warping here. And when you warp, it actually heals you, which is really nice. Otherwise, I'd pretty much be dead. So yeah, that was nothing like a little bit of a risk there. So here, you just gotta press a few numbered buttons in the correct order, and it unlocks another portal world, which of course is also skipped. Surprise, surprise. Like, I can't Like, there's like 2 portal worlds, I think, that are not actually skipped. But there's actually an item we get late game that allows you to skip them anyways. It's like non-glitch method. So there's basically 2 portal worlds that aren't glitched. That's like out of like, I think there's 14 in total. I honestly don't really know. I don't keep track of numbers here. But yeah, so it's a really fun glitch to mess around with. But it is annoying to have to do. Like, we actually allow the use of a third-party program to map joystick inputs to like mouse clicks or keyboard, so that you can easily click the status bar without having to actually switch from controller to mouse every time. Ice storage can be tricky to get sometimes because it is frame perfect, and you have to be positioned properly. Alright, that's good. So here we skip going the long way to enter this portal world, and of course Avalop is also skipped. The fun fact, Avalop is the developers are actually Swedish, and Avalop in Sweden means sewer. So that's why it looks like a sewer. It's a nice touch that I only recently learned about, like pure coincidence. And also another fun fact, Avalop was the first actual skip found with phasing. Okay, so these are skull nips. They're usually not a big deal, except I died for the first time in a while to them in my practice run. Like when I did a practice run earlier in anticipation for this run, and I actually died in the split. Because there's more skull nips up here when you try to press the second button, and they can troll you depending on their random spawn. Like that. Oh no, oh no. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna heal here for safety. They almost did it again. Ah. Alright, I'm getting too many close calls this run. I don't like it. So here, we enter this cave and get another crayon. And we enter the next dungeon. Now this is, if you follow the suggested order, this is dungeon 7. But, nice. For some reason it didn't actually phase there. So yeah, to be more specific about how phasing works, is you can bypass certain like loading zones or room transitions. You can phase to certain types of enemies, or certain lighters, I guess is the more appropriate term. And yeah, it has some unusual properties, but it's similar. I'm not gonna say it's exactly the same, but it's very similar to a glitch in Super Meat Boy, which I believe is called alting, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, it's basically the same exact thing as that. But as far as I understand it, I've never actually played Super Meat Boy. I should. Seems like my kind of game. Alright, so that room is completely cheesed with dynamite, which well, you would normally have it at this point if you played it glitchless, but... or if you played by the intended order, I should say. But yeah, it's pretty nice having dynamite earlier, which was a recent route change we did, actually. So this is Lenny. Say hi to Lenny. He's a nice guy, so we're gonna beat him up. And so, once again, in the game, we actually time the game in game time, because loads and lag can be very inconsistent at times. So normally, to actually have a run be verified, you need to actually have in-game time displayed. But since that's not allowed for this layout, at the end of the run I just have to try to remember to view the time on file select, otherwise technically the run wouldn't be valid. Yeah, But it's good because it allows me to do no reset since I don't know my pace. Because I'm horrible at no resets. Like, I think I've only done one no reset, which is actually my world record run, and I came very close to resetting it, so... Alright, I'm terrible at this fight. Yeah, that was a really ugly fight. Whatever. I actually didn't take damage there, which is surprising. It's just because it was bad. Spent too much time trying to dodge. Anyways, now, so we get that lockpick, and we did Wall of Text, which is also skipped. Which is sad, because that room has my favorite song in the entire game. Anyway, so this is art exhibit. Okay, he's gonna troll me if I don't kill him. Sorry, that Ogler just had to die. So here, we do another change shortcut, which actually saves a lot of time in this dungeon. Because it skips pretty much half the dungeon, and a key as well. So, it's really nice having chain here. So, in the next room here, we skip the puzzle, because why not? And we get Dynamite 2, which increases Dynamite's damage. So, yeah, now we pretty much have Dynamite 2 for, like, pretty much most of the run at this point. It really helps a lot with bosses. Speaking of bosses, we now have Jenny 2. This fight's really simple, and I already messed it up. I don't know. I was thinking... I don't know what I was actually thinking there. I normally don't flash first. Yeah, this is a horrible fight. Why am I so bad today? I blame the Skull Nips from last run for killing me. They just ruined my mentality for the entire day. I mean, it did. They just ruined me. They just completely destroyed me in that run. Never died there. I'm just glad I didn't have to show that embarrassment in this run. Otherwise, I would just forfeit. Because actually dying to the Skull Nips in Frozen Court actually costs you like 50 seconds. It's pretty bad. So, yeah. There's like no recovering from that. But yeah, as far as major threats to a run, there aren't really that many. There is one coming up later on, like about 30 minutes in. But I'll mention it when the time comes. But basically, there is one room that there is a likelihood that I could die in it, and dying there would actually cost me about a minute. So let's hope I don't die there. But anyways, that's like, I don't even know what time we're in. I don't have the stream up because I wanted to reduce lag, so... I don't even know if I'm actually live right now, but I haven't heard any complaints, so... Oh wait, what am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, so yeah, muscle memory screwed me there. Actually, no, that wasn't even muscle memory. That was just like... I was thinking I was earlier, or later, rather. Because yeah, normally I don't do that portal world. Yeah, okay. Losing time here, but that's okay. Anyway, but yeah, because normally we do that later, which is why I was confused. Okay, now I'm completely confused. Okay, where am I? Okay. Yeah, I'm actually completely thrown off now because of that. I'm not used to not knowing my pace. That messes me up. Honestly, I'm still trying to think of where I am. I think this is where I'm supposed to be. I guess this is what I get for only doing like 5 runs of this route. Alright, so here we get that outfit. And then... actually, I was supposed to warp. Oh well. Not really a big deal. Yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure this is where I'm supposed to be. If when I did that one portal world in Fancy Ruins, I was like very confused. It's like, this doesn't feel right. And now it makes sense as to why it didn't feel right. Alright, it's fine. It'll save a little bit of time later on, I guess. I don't have to do it later on, but I'll actually lose time because I won't have that warp. Okay, so I try to ice these guys and do a combination of ice and dynamite. And I did not mean to freeze a dynamite there, but whatever. That actually went faster than PB. That did not store. Oh god, positioning was bad. So yeah, you want to be like... you want to be better than me. You want to be exactly centered on the ice block when it slides into you. Otherwise it'll like push you to one of the sides. And yeah, that was miserable there. So we get this crayon. Now, one thing you'll learn about this game is there are a lot of secrets throughout the game. There's like a lot of secret caves and stuff that may not be obviously apparent to begin with. But, you know, once you spend some time running this game, you get the hang of it. Just memorization. A lot of it is just remembering what the secrets require. Nice, got the dynamite strat there. I don't always get that because timing is kind of stupid. So here we do another chain shortcut. Get that crayon out of my way. Alright, here's to hoping I get good RNG here. I'll save a few seconds. Oh, no, come on, come back, come back. Alright, bad RNG. You can sometimes phase to him if he comes close enough, but yeah, it's up to the RNGesus. And he didn't like me this run, so... So here's Biodlo. Should have placed dynamite before I ran away. Yeah, this is a sloppy fight. What matters is I'm able to explain things. I don't really care about getting a good time. But yeah, bosses are actually the hardest part of runs for ID2, in my opinion. Because they just take specific strats, and they're all pretty much the same strat. It's just you have to be consistent with like dynamite placing, and you have to be good at mashing too, which I'm particularly bad at. But I think I can mash like 14 times per second or something. Maybe even less than that. I'm not good. But yeah, like I've been running this since November and I still lose a lot of time to bosses. Which is why I'm really surprised I was able to pull off a world record run yesterday. Anyways. So here, if you get good RNG, you can actually skip doing the ice storage there, but I wasn't fortunate. But it doesn't really cost you that much time. So here you clip through that slope to land on this one, and just faster movement to get to this cave. And we hit that chest out of bounds, tipping the entire cave. I think by now you're understanding that you pretty much skip everything in this game. Which is kind of sad, because it's a really fun game. So we do want to touch that portal. Okay, I almost messed that up. But yeah, we do want to touch the checkpoint so that we can just warp back here after we do that last cave. Okay, I'm still lost. Okay. Yeah, I actually have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, no, I do. I know what I'm doing. So it's actually a glitch that Ludosity tried to patch in this game, but they ended up making it more convenient. But basically, if you warp from anywhere from South Fluffy Fields, it'll actually warp you to the lake. And I understand why it works, but I'm not gonna explain the specifics. I don't want to nerd out too much here. Basically, what matters is that it works. So here we enter Pillow Fort, which is considered to be the first dungeon. Why it's really easy. We get the north key so that we can just go straight to getting this tracker. And yeah, that's the final level of the tracker. So the first item we get the final level of, it happens to be the most useless item in the run. Because what the tracker does... Bad angles? Okay, what the tracker does is it shows the location of... It basically shows points of interest in a dungeon map. And of course, if you played this game as much as some of us have, it's kind of useless. And again, I'm forgetting boss strats for some reason. Okay. Oh god, I'm taking a lot of damage here. It's not good. And that dynamite missed. That's... Oh god. This is like the worst Lenny I've had in a long time. But whatever, we'll live. I'm really curious what my end time will be. Like, I don't even know if I'll be underestimate. I should be. If I'm not under an hour, then I deserve to just quit speedrunning. But yeah, anyways, so here we do another classic void phase. And we just finish up fluffy field stuff, and here's another secret cave. You just go counterclockwise around the tree. And you enter this outfit cave. And I just realized I forgot to mention what all the requirements for Hundo is. So we get all lockpicks, all crayons, all upgradable items, so like all amulets, all chains, all trackers, everything. We get all 8 RAF pieces as well as the 4 forbidden keys, which are like post-boss items. And I'm trying to think right now. I'm not good at commentaries, so it's a challenge for me. Yeah, I think that covers it. As far as requirements go, there is a... Can you die, please? There is a true 100% category, which is actually about to change to max %. And basically, currently it just adds the addition of the secret world, the promised remedy, which also has a super secret final boss. Wasted dynamite. But yeah, the reason why remedy isn't counted in normal 100% is because you have to do nothing for 7 minutes to unlock the entrance. I mean, that's literally what it takes. You have to stand in front of a painting for 7 minutes. And if you do any inputs during that time, it'll reset the timer. So, actually, I think you'd have to actually reload the room, if I'm not mistaken, to like reset the timer. So yeah, it's kind of annoying to have to do, and there's no other way to get in there, even by cheating. So that's why it's not counted in normal 100%, because that'd just be dumb. But I will be running max % and any % in the near future, so that'll be fun and miserable. Anyways, this run's not going too bad so far, although the hardest part is yet to come. And yeah, you want to be careful when you're spamming phase rolls like that when around enemies, because if you get unlucky, they can actually clip you out of bounds, forcing you to warp, forcing you to lose time. So that's why in some cases you'll see me just play it safe around enemies. Why am I failing this? There we go. Third tries the charm. So here's Painful Plane. It's skipped. Like really, there's not a single portal world that doesn't have some sort of glitch in it. I mean, you could actually glitch your way through that portal world without chain, but of course doing it naturally just saves time. So yeah, going pretty good. So coming up here is going to be what is meant to be Dungeon 2. right after this cave. Oops, nice miss. I like missing things. Fun. Takes skill to miss things like that. Anyways, we do a dynamite shortcut here. And this gets us Force 2. Force Wand 2. Force Wand is actually the lowest damage dealing item in the game. So it's not really used much. That's to like solve puzzles. And of course, phasing and ice ring completely destroy that puzzle, which you would normally use Force Wand for, but it's slower. Bad. Why am I so bad at bosses today? But yeah, bosses basically just require smashing. Alright, kid still got the 2 cycle at least. That would be really bad if I didn't. Which I barely made 2 cycle. But I still made it, that's what matters. So that's it for Sandcastle. Nice rolls there. So that puzzle there is skipped having Ice Ring. And here we get another lockpick. So as far as how many of each item there are 12 lockpicks, 20 crayon. Nice void. I meant to do that. There are 20 crayons, 8 rafts, 4 forbidden keys, 3 of each upgradable item, so 3 amulets, 3 chains, etc. And 24 shards. And the secret shards are only used to enter secret dungeons, which we will be doing in the not so distant future. So here is okay, I got it second try. I'll take that. That angle is just very hard for me to do on the analog stick for some reason. So it's good that I got it second try. There is an alternate way to do that, but it's frame perfect. And the game runs at 60 FPS, so that's pretty frame perfect tricks are kind of interesting to get. But yeah, so of course the vault is another Porter world that is completely skipped, which is actually my favorite Porter world, so I'm sad it's skipped. So we get that shard, then we return to Slope to get the last item there. And this is going to be the first use of entrance despawning. And hopefully I get good RNG here. Alright, good. Sometimes that fish pun is too far for you to phase to. And so if that happens, you have to actually warp and try again. But it's good I got it first try. Yeah, I'm forgetting. Okay, I know what to do. Really, like, messing up earlier really put my mind elsewhere. Like, I'm really thinking I'm, like, later in the run than I am. Alright, so that's when we get that outfit, which is our second to last outfit. And here we entered Dungeon 8, which is Grand Library. Which, there's actually no way to access this dungeon early, currently. Even if there was, it really wouldn't save too much time in most categories, unfortunately. But it would still be nice to have it early, at least. Alright. So, again, this dungeon is completely broken, and why did I do that? So, we get that crayon, we get Fire Mace, and then we skip the rest of the dungeon. So, the reason why that works is developers forgot to remove the loading zone for the secondary map while it's unloaded. So, we can just go out of bounds and get straight to the secondary map, skipping literally the entire dungeon. Saves like several minutes, even in Honda. So here you can just phase to Passel because he's an enemy. So you can just skip every one of these phases, which also saves a lot of time. This is actually one of the early tricks found with phasing. Like when enemy phasing was first discovered, this was like one of the first things tested with it. Alright. Already a bad passing. I just try to randomly do dynamite and hope he randomly walks into it, but yeah. Alright, good. I hit him with the dynamite there. That's nice. Oh, he did a lot of damage to me there. Gotta be careful now. Okay. So here we actually get 2 post-boss items. We get the final raft, so we can actually beat the game now if we wanted to. And we get the first forbidden key. Forbidden keys are normally meant to be used to enter the final secret dungeon, but we don't do that, as you will see in about 5 seconds. So here is the most dangerous part of the run for me. So that's early S4, and it allows us to get the, I won't spoil it. Why did I do dynamite at the bottom there? Okay, so here there is a puzzle that I'm horrible at, which is why I messed it up. Okay, second try, I'll take that. I'm just not good at those specific angles. Ow. So yeah, this is meant to be like the final dungeon, but you don't actually have to do this dungeon to actually beat the game. But for Hundo, of course, you have to do it. Because there is a crayon and a main item. And this is the crayon. And again, we make use of button phasing, which doesn't have too many uses throughout this run, unfortunately, but that's one of the uses. Why do I make that mistake? Okay, 2 for 2. Alright. Alright, now we're doing something. Okay, so this is the biggest run killer for me, is this room right here. Because it's just torture. Okay, I got him. Okay, still, okay. Alright, we're good. We're good. I'm just terrible at that room. It has killed me more times than a lot of things have. So it's really good I didn't do too bad there. It's still slow, but I'll definitely take not dying there. Because if you die there, you have to go through the entire dungeon again, which only loses like about a minute. So yeah, it's you don't want to die there. Simple as that. So here we just skip all of these rooms because we're professionals. And another use of button phasing. And here, if I can get it, alright, good. So here you actually do something interesting, and you just press all of these buttons, if I can get the right angles. You just press all the buttons from on top of the blocks, which you normally wouldn't be able to get on top of. And here is EFCS, or Exploding Fire Chainsaw Shotgun. And it basically allows you to skip everything at this point. Because nice void. That was part of the route. What was that? I like voiding today for some reason. But EFCS allows you to do what I'm gonna do here, and if you charge it for 3 seconds, you can blow up the door like that. I'm actually gonna heal here for safety. If you skip the checkpoints at the end of dungeons, you can just warp out and save like 2 seconds instead of having to wait for the portal spawn, but I'm not risking it for this fight because this is the 3rd part of the run that I can easily die in if I'm not paying attention. Doing good so far. Oops. So this is meant to be the final boss. Because Pastel's actually the final boss required to beat the game, but Simula is required to 100% the game. You get over there, get hit by dynamite, thank you. No. He just jumps around randomly during this phase, which makes her often not get hit by the dynamite, like that. But yeah, if you're not careful, she can actually do a real number on you. Like, this actually used to be my weakest point in runs. Ow. Because, yeah, this fight is the longest, which means you stand to lose the most amount of time if you do bad in it. But we made it to phase 2, so that's something. You really want to avoid that attack, because that will pretty much wreck you. Alright, good, she stayed there. Good girl. But yeah, I should be fine. Went for the risky dynamite strat there. Alright, and that's it for Simula. That's actually not a bad fight. It was slow, but I didn't actually take that much damage as I normally do. So that's... I'll take that. I'll take that as a win. Okay, so now it's late game stuff, which goes pretty smoothly. I mean, there's not really any threats to the run at this point, so I don't even know what my pace is right now, so but I should be able to make the estimate, because it's not too bad of a run. I'm thinking it would be like a 101 or something, like RTA. Actually, no. I'd say it would be like a flat 1 hour. But yeah, so this is Northern End. It's normally a very brutal, very brutal dungeon to have to go through, or portal world rather, because it has 3 tough enemies in it that you would have to fight to unlock, each door. Nice. Hit it one too many times. That's unfortunate. Okay, I almost hit it again too many times. So yeah, you just get like raped by all these oglers during those phases. So here, there is a tricky phase, like ice phase you can do there, but I don't know why it's stupid, but it is. So, so yeah, I unfortunately didn't get it, but that's fine. There's a backup for it, so it's not really a big deal. I just always give it a try at least. So now we are done with Lonely Road. We are never coming back. And here we finish up Pepper Pain. We get the final shard. Wait, is this the final shard? No, it's not. Second to last shard. That was intentional. Voids are a requirement in this game. Okay, like see, if you void so many times, what will happen is it will just unlock, the end game earlier. So you can save some frames if you void. That's obviously not true, I'm just trying to explain why I'm bad. So here, you want to sit here for 10 seconds. And I actually was not, okay, yeah. I wasn't keeping track of time. I was focusing on commentary, but yeah, basically you wait there for at least 10 seconds and the UFO will kidnap the cow, or abduct rather, and yeah. And that opens up a portal world for us, which we will go to shortly. Nice cracked wall there. So there we can just shoot a fireball across the room to hit the crayon chest. Saves a decent amount of time actually in not having to go through the room there. And here, if I get the right angle, I think this should work. I can actually hit the... Yeah, yep, there we go. So I was able to hit the chest or I was able to break the crystal and hit the chest at the same time. With like 1 rocket, or well, with 2 rockets. But that does require a specific angle, which I don't always get. It's good that I got it. But here's Maze of Steel. It does have a phasing skip, which Northern End does not. Northern End is the one border world that actually has no glitch skip in it. But this portal world is faster to do with EFCS. Because you'd still have to do one room plus half of another one to do it with phasing, whereas with EFCS we can just blow up the 2 doors at the end there and take the shortcut. So here we return to Fancy Ruins, and there's 2 caves we want to do here. We do this secret one, which we have to sit here for a few seconds to unlock. And that is the final shard now. Unless I'm forgetting something else, which I don't think I am. And yeah, we can just clip into this cave. And this is this our what? Ah, that's unfortunate. Oh god. Okay. I've never actually had that happen before. Yeah, that's lame. The whole reason to place ice there in the first place is in hopes that it'll protect you from getting hit by the ogglers. But for some reason it didn't work the first time. But anyways, so once we get the lockpick, we actually warp back to Fancy Ruins. And now we get this final outfit, because it's faster to do with EFCS than to do it earlier. And so now is when I would normally do this portal world, but since I choked and did it earlier, I'm just gonna ignore it. Which actually saves a little bit of time, I think. Not really sure. I think I might lose like half a second or something, just due to a little extra movement that I have to do. No, it actually saves a few seconds to movement. That's cool. Get out of my way, don't troll me. Alright, so here is Secret Dungeon 2, which is Machine Fortress. And if I can get this angle... Oh, looks good. Alright, nice. That's a swag strat right there. You can hit both doors at the same time. But sometimes the hyperduces there can actually troll you and mess up your angle. So, I got lucky. Nice turnaround. Alright, so here we get Dynamite 3. Why did I warp? I'm a dum-dum. Alright, that actually doesn't really cost that much time. I needed to portal anyways, but maybe lost like a couple seconds. Lost more time to failing this puzzle. Again, you can skip a lot of these puzzles with EFCS, but due to the charge time for EFCS, it often isn't really worth it. So here is Mechabun 1, which is pretty basic. Just normal boss strats. But he does do extra damage, and he can actually stun you, which is mildly annoying. But that was a decent fight. Alright, so yeah, I didn't hit the checkpoint on purpose, so I can just warp right out. I'm gonna do that with all the Mechabuns, ideally, unless I just take far too much damage before the boss. So here we finish up Frozen Court. We get the... And actually no, I was wrong earlier, and I messed up. This is the last outfit. And also, when you're doing certain things where you have to move in a certain direction, phasing will actually mess it up, which is why earlier when I was doing the zigzag pattern in Lonely Road, I specifically didn't phase during certain parts of it, and I did not intend to phase during that unlocking of the cave, but yeah. I keep choking, so it's okay. Alright, good. They're not trolling me. These guys, if they hit you, it'll mess up your angle, and you'll actually miss the door. So I make sure to wait a little bit there and make sure they miss me before I try to charge it. Alright, so here we're headed to the Crayon. And it's actually faster to hit some of these doors with EFCS from out of bounds, because you'll instantly enter the loading zone, or the transition rather, and that will skip the recoil from EFCS, saving like a second or so. Maybe like 3/4 of a second or something. Not really sure the exact timing, but it's nice. And you'll see that happen again, well, something similar happen in about 10 seconds. So here we are returning to East Star to do Secret Dungeon 3. Alright, good, I didn't forget any shards. And this fast entry is kind of stupid. So third try is okay there. But here we charge this, we EFCS that door and warp right away. Just skip the recoil, and we get that crayon. And we actually do something different here than any other dungeon. We actually go straight to the boss before getting the item upgrade. And this is because we want to save our lockpick for later, so we actually use the key we just got, the dungeon key we just got. So you have to be careful to remember to not touch the checkpoint, because that'll actually make you lose a little bit of time, because you have to re-enter the dungeon then. Or, yeah, because you'd have to portal out, which actually makes you leave the dungeon entirely. Sometimes you'll see me force a dynamite. That's just to get it closer to hitting the boss, if I don't feel confident that it'll actually hit it. Sometimes I just place dynamite too early or something. Alright. Could have been better, but I'll take it. So here, you actually don't leave the dungeon yet. Here, we instead go up here, use the key we just got, and there's a fast strat you could do here, which I failed. So I'll just do it normally, unfortunately. If I remember how. Oh my god. This is like the second time I've ever actually done this puzzle vanilla. I always manage to pull off the skip, but it's really difficult because you have to be really fast with it. Because otherwise the monochrome, who is invincible by the way, he will troll you if you're pretty much any slow at all with it, and make it impossible to do it. So not really a surprise that I didn't get it there, but not really a big deal. So here we return to Fluffy Fields to do the last dungeon. And it doesn't look like I forgot anything, so hopefully this should be good. I'm always paranoid of forgetting something, because it's very easy to. Especially since I'm on like 5 hours of sleep. Which is more than I expected to get, actually. Yeah. But, anyways. So here we just go to the west side. And we get Force Swan 3. And then we go north and take a blue warp. We head to the final crayon. The fun fact, there are actually 3 level 4 items that are possible to get if you cheat them in, like by actually like modifying the save file or modifying the game code. Oops. But they're completely impossible to get in runs, unfortunately. Dynamite 4 is actually the most OP item, because not only does it do a lot of damage, but it also acts as EFCS without a charge time or recoil. So you save like 4 seconds with every door you EFCS, which obviously saves a lot of time. So it would be great if we can actually find a way to get it in runs. Bad. But yeah, this is Mechabun 3. All Mechabuns have the same amount of health, which is 400. Whereas Simulacrum has 900 HP. That's why Simula takes the longest amount of time. Alright, and that's almost time. Because right after I leave this dungeon, I will hit the credits. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Time. Alright. So, here, let me open up the stream now. Alright. I always forget stream delay. I don't really stream that often. I'm trying to get more into it though, which is why I took on this run. But, so, depending on the time, Alright, so 57.39, that's not bad. I kind of want to let the credits roll because there is a little secret at the end of them. The credits are like 4 minutes. I don't know if we would have time for that, because otherwise I'll just show my in-game time on file select to make the run quote-unquote official. I mean, alright, yeah. Alright, so yeah. Credits are pretty cool. Basically, you just see all the bosses floating, and certain enemies like that fish bun there, poor guy. So yeah, that's GG. 57.39. I feel like that's actually PB, but I highly doubt it. Like, I don't have my PB memorized though. Not for in-game time, or I mean not for RTA, but in-game time is 45:03. So if I got sub 45, that'll actually be a new world record. But yeah, I will show that once credits are over. But yeah, overall that wasn't a bad run. And I guess just thank you for having me. A lot of fun. Nerve-wracking though, since it was my first marathon run, but it went well. First time doing commentary too. But yeah, at the end of the credits, I'm not gonna spoil it. But yeah, after the whole after the Nicholas special thanks, it'll show the secret. It's a secret you only get if you beat Simulacrum and get the loot item, which is also a requirement of Hundo, is getting loot. And if you get that item, it'll just give you a little special message at the end of the credits, which like basically acknowledging that you 100%ed the game, technically. Alright, coming up here. So this is not something you would see in any other run, like all dungeons or any percent, but you see Simula floating there, and at the top it says, "Oh, you are strongest adventurer." What I like to think that's Simulacrum saying that, but I don't know. But anyways, yeah, good run. It's a fun game. I highly recommend people getting into it, because it's actually not hard to get into. But anyways, 48:10, yeah, that was a bad run. 3 minutes away from PB. I don't know why I was thinking RTA was... Wait, no, RTA is like... Yeah, my RTA PB is like 55 something, I think. No, 54. Yeah. Anyways, I guess that's pretty much it. So, thank you for having me. A lot of fun. Yeah. Not really glitch heavy, but because it really only uses 2 glitches, but it just completely exploits the one glitch.